All right, everybody, welcome out to the up. I was going to change it tonight. Let's change it tonight. Let's do that. All right, everybody, it's time for the End of Chaser Spirits and Beer Pairing Show. It is Thursday, June the 5th, 2024. Jersey Johnny coming at you with me. As always, it's none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Mr. Samurai.
We're not on the screen. You know this?
There we
There
are.
we are.
I got you.
You're playing peekaboo.
Oh, I was playing peekaboo.
Oh, man. There's this great comic strip out there of like aliens doing human things, but they're describing it in like very literal alien ways. So it's an alien with its baby going, "You see me now.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't exist." Deception. It's really cute. I can't remember the name of the strip. It's really cute though. They do a lot of different things, but
That's funny.
I noticed our theme song doesn't have something I can sing along to. Like
No, we actually did speak to Harry just the other day. We're changing up so it'll be on the next show. We will have actual theme song. No, I mean it's not an actual theme song for End of Chaser, but a theme song to use and it's going to be a log song, as we know, right?
Log song.
But a theme
not
song
a long song. Log.
A long song.
Log is the band, people.
Log is the band. There's no N. It's L-O-G, not L-O-N-G. Log.
No, because otherwise it'd be a long song like Whipping Post, and half
Right.
the show will be done.
Exactly. So my ice is melting, so I'm going to make my cocktail.
Yes, you know what? I think I will do the same. So why don't you tell everybody what you're doing as you make yours?
All right. Tonight I'm making actually a little bit more of that. There we go. I am making a rye old fashioned.
Now, rye old fashioned, was it your idea or was it Tom's idea to do rye old fashioned?
It was my idea.
It was your idea.
It was my idea. It's a rye old fashioned, but doing something a little different. So, as you know,
as we are all want to
as
do.
we all want to do, exactly.
No, as we are want. W-O-N-T.
As we are what to do, right?
Want.
Yes. So a few weeks back, I was up in Vermont. I did have a little bit of this on a show a couple weeks ago, or maybe a few weeks ago. I bought a bottle of Sapling. It's maple liqueur, Vermont maple liqueur. It's by Saxton's Distillery. It's fantastic, but it's super sweet, right? So cutting it. So I decided I'm going to use that as the simple syrup.
Very nice.
All right. And then I'm going to, I bought a couple of these because they were actually out at Smuggler's Notch in Vermont. Same in Vermont as well. They were actually out of the 750s and the 375s of the Smuggler's Notch Rye, which I love. But they did have a few of these, so I did have the nips. So I got these. So boom, easy peasy. Open it up, pour the whole damn thing in, right? So there you go.
There you go.
And that's what we're doing there. In that goes. There we go. And then I'm going to put 1 or 12 dashes of black walnut bitters.
I think I did 13.
13. I'm going to do
I did 13.
2, 9, 7, 8, 4, 8, 2, 3, 8. There we go. I think that's enough. There we go.
Possibly.
And now we're going to stir that up. Mix that around just a bit. And strain it, pour it over my actual ice. There we go. And I'm going to garnish it with a Tipsy Cherry. Tipsy Cherries, I like Tipsy Cherries because they're not as good as Luxardos, but they're good. And they're nowhere near as expensive as Luxardos. So.
What is?
Exactly. So there we go.
Weapons grade uranium.
Weapons grade uranium is close. Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's quite as expensive, but it's close. Right? So 2 of those, and this being the bottle of Tipsy Cherries. It's Sable and Rosenfeld. Tipsy Cherries right there.
Very nice.
Sable and Rosenfeld. Tipsy Cherries. And there you go. There's the finished product right there.
Very pretty. Well, I already finished mine. I was making mine while you were making yours.
I was going to say you already finished it. It's gone.
No, not tonight. So my base spirit is Alberta rye whiskey. So rather than an American rye, this is a rye Canadian whiskey.
Canadian rye. Very nice.
Right. So, and it's called Dark Batch. And the reason it's called Dark Batch for the same reason that what's the one that you like so much? The dark rye.
The Basil Hayden's.
Basil Hayden. For the same reason. it's finished with bourbon in it. Port wine in it. There it is, right
Basil
there.
Hayden's Dark Rye. There you
So they both have port in it. Now, John, for his simple syrup, he decided to go with a maple liqueur.
Mm-hmm.
But since this was finished on port, I finished mine with port.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the port here. I originally had started it with, and the reason it's in this little thing is I cooked it down. That was actually John's idea. We were at a party over this past weekend. He said, "You might as well just cook it down." Usually it's about a half ounce, 3/4 ounce of simple syrup.
Keep talking. We have a guest. Well, it's
Dude,
actually not a guest. It's actually our third member.
It's
So.
actually Tom.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Tom.
Yep.
Keep moving because I've got a loud bunch out there. I had to pop off quick. I was supposed to be off today, but they needed me. But I wanted to come on because I've got a brand new cocktail here I want to share with you. Here at Banjo, we're calling it the Cigar Bash Old Fashioned. And what I'm using is the Union Horse Reunion Rye. They're out of Lenexa, Kansas. It's a 9% proof rye. I'm using my homemade, or house-made, I should say, orange peel simple syrup. A little bit of this orange liqueur,
Very nice.
similar to a Grand Marnier kind of product. But here's the kicker. Here's what makes the cocktail. These tobacco bitters.
Tobacco bitter.
There
Nice.
you go.
So this just changes the game here. And this cocktail, whoo, I made one for the boss today, and he thought it was just one of the best he's ever had. So, oh, mercy. But even though there's no tobacco in that product, it gives you, when it combines with everything else, it gives you that illusion.
Nice. I've never. I can't say as I've ever had tobacco bitters, but I am intrigued. And unless
The ingredients, John, are alcohol, cherry, clove, vanilla, cardamom, and spices. Contains no tobacco. But again, once it combines with everything, you have that illusion. A little bit of leather, a little bit of cigar tobacco.
Very nice. We're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to look for that. You're gonna have to message me later and let me know the particulars, and I'll try and look for it and see if I can get a bottle or two of it.
I'm gonna get back to the Pope out here, but I'm gonna pop back on just a little bit as soon as I get a chance with a beer for you.
You got it.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
I'll
All
be back.
You got it.
See you soon, Tom.
You got it. All right. So
All right.
continue, Dave. Sorry.
I will finish mine. So just to recap, it was the Alberta Rye, Canadian Rye whiskey,
Canadian rye whiskey.
reduced port. I just took a sip of it while Tom was on. Needed a little bit more than that because I was afraid. I put in half of what I usually put in because I figured boiling the port down a little bit might concentrate the sweetness.
Right.
Yeah, it didn't really do it. So I added a little bit more, brought it up to the normal level. I used orange bitters in mine.
You did.
Right, the Fee Brothers, you see that line everywhere.
Sure.
Use the orange bitters in it. I thought the orange bitters would go quite well with this. It was between that and Angostura.
Orange bitters would probably work well with the port. Absolutely. I agree.
Yes, but the orange bitters. Now, when it comes to cherries, we mentioned Luxardos. Tom had turned me on to Clark's.
Yes, Clark's is good.
Clark's are very good. Maybe 2/3 the price of Luxardos. Sometimes half if you know where to look. But an old fashioned typically has a maraschino in it, not a cocktail cherry.
Correct.
Right, that's a Manhattan. So I went with a maraschino cherry, but my maraschino cherries, I do them a little differently. I like to drain all of the liquid out of it first. I don't need that sweetness. It doesn't matter how much of the liquid you take out of there and how many times you replace it. It's still going to have that bright red color no matter what you do.
Of course.
But the liquid that's replaced in there, even though it looks like the maraschino liquid, this is actually rye whiskey in there.
Very nice.
And I let those things soak in there. And anytime I make a cocktail for somebody with one of these in there, I always warn them. Careful with that cherry at the end. It's got a bite to it. They always forget. And they take a bite of it. It's because, man.
You see, with me, even if I forgot, it would be a pleasant surprise.
Oh, it's always a pleasant surprise. But it's just that initial, whoa. Ooh, wow.
Hello. All right. Yeah, there you go.
Where have you been my whole life?
Exactly.
So
Um,
that's what I like to do.
Remind me about draining liquid out of maraschino cherries in a few minutes after we have a little more of this convo. I got a funny little story for you. But what's your beer you're pairing with?
Well, I'm just cracking it open now, as you just heard. I like to crack the beer open close to the mic so everyone can hear the beer.
Absolutely. I had a bottle, so it didn't have the same effect.
But did we get the?
A little bit. Enough.
I like a.
Certainly not a can's worth, but you know.
That is a beautiful beer. Look at this.
That is pretty. It's very nice glass too.
My mechanical glass there. So this is a beer that John brought back for me from his Vermont trip.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Vermont Schwarz beer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little of Austria. And the thing is, it's just metallic on metallic, so it's glare on glare.
Yep.
So you can't really see it say Schwarz on there. That's lovely.
That's a pretty beer.
Now my initial thought was really to do a Baltic Porter with it. I don't have any Baltic Porters in the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
That I know of. Every now and then I completely forget what's in there. There might be some in there, but wanted to do the Schwarz beer with this. Wanted to see how the two of them interacted. I wanted something, since this is a Alberta Rye Whiskey dark batch, I wanted a dark beer.
Sure. Of course.
What is really interesting is the interaction between the two.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that kind of there's this one flavor that Guinness has to it that's really hard to put your finger on.
Mm-hmm.
And because of all the, because they use, was it squid ink pouches to clarify?
Right.
I call it squid ink. Is that flavor? It's not. I don't know what squid ink tastes like, but I don't know.
Squid ink really has not much of any flavor.
No, but I don't know what flavor I don't know if you know what flavor I'm talking about. It's a roasty flavor, but it's also a little fruity and a little smoky, all at once. Schwarz beers usually don't throw that flavor, and I know for a fact this beer does not throw that particular flavor that Guinness has. So I'm really thinking, well, maybe it does, because that's my third sip of it.
Well, just remember the cocktail you're drinking too.
Yeah, well, that's one thing. I'm thinking is what the cocktail's bringing out. Holy crap, and drinking this made this pretty sweet.
There you go. Oh, yeah.
Two senses to the word.
Yeah.
In the sucrose version and the sweet version of it.
Of course. Yeah.
What are you drinking there?
I thought, you know me and this particular style. I thought going with a North Coast Old Stock Ale.
That's a beautiful beer right there.
Mm-hmm.
And the old ales, barley wines. When John gets a hankering for one of those, he ain't gonna stop until he satisfies that hankering.
Oh, such a good beer. And let me go right here. Actually, I'm going the other way, right? I'm doing the chaser first. I just want to see what it brings out. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's pairing really nice. Oh, yeah. God. Yeah. If I could, 2 straws, right? And one in each glass, that would work. Yeah, that's just about a perfect pairing right there.
Yeah, I wouldn't call mine a perfect pairing. I think mine's a little more contradictory. Not in a bad way.
No, of course. Not complimentary, contradictory, but in a good way.
But that's always, well, we've talked about it before. There's many different types of pairing. There's the contradictory pairing. There's the complementary pairing. And there's also the purposeful cancellation pairing. Right, where you're looking for each side of the equation to cancel out on the other side of the equation. I'm going into algebra here. I'm sorry. These are algebra proofs. But one thing on one side of the equation, canceling something on the other side of the equation to enhance elements of both items.
Right.
And I think one of the key examples I ever came across, it was one of the weirdest examples, was a heavily kind of spicy piney IPA with carrot cake.
Yes, you've mentioned that many times.
And it's just, it was actually 2 types of pairings there. It was a cancellation pairing where the spices canceled each other out, but it was also a contradictory pairing where the the alcohol in the IPA canceled out the sweetness of the cream cheese icing.
Hmm.
So it's still a cancellation, but it's contradictory, and it did that, which allowed the carrot cake to be carrot.
Right.
You could taste carrot.
You're just eating carrots at that point.
It was, but yummy carrots.
Mhm. That's
So
great. So, cool. All right. This is tasting really. I'm really enjoying this. I wish I gotta find a way to get a full bottle of this Smuggler's Not Dry. I really like it. It's really nice. But I digress. Since he's not here, I use his word for it. He'll be back on at some point. But I gotta look into those tobacco bitters that he was talking about.
yeah, I've not heard of those before. I've actually had drinks that are considered. What do they do? There was a drink. There's a place in New Brunswick that's it's a bourbon bar, but also specializes in game meats.
Okay.
I can't remember that. It's New Brunswick, New Jersey, not New Brunswick, Canada. I can't remember the name of it right now, but there was one that I had.
You're not talking about Fossil Farms, are you? I mean, that's up in.
No. That's up near Booton.
Yeah, that's up there.
No, this is New Brunswick.
No, okay.
This is off one of the side roads, off of George Street. Clyde's. It's called Clyde. CLYDZ. And John, if you've not been there, you got to get there.
I got to go.
If you like game meats, they've got very inventive dishes with game meats.
Nice.
But they're also a bourbon bar.
Oh, very nice.
And so I ordered them. The first thing I ordered there was a Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's a bourbon bar. They're going to do a good Manhattan. So I watched them make it. And that's what turned me on to Antica vermouth.
Okay. Yeah.
Antica sweet vermouth. Antica makes all the difference in a Manhattan, as far as I'm concerned.
It's a great vermouth.
I won't make a Manhattan without Antica. I have to have 2 bottles of Antica on hand at all times, just in case I drink too much and either drop the bottle or drink that bottle dry.
Right.
I've since departed from their version of the Manhattan because they used Angostura bitters, and there's not a damn thing wrong with that.
No.
But we know full well that those black walnut bitters that you turn us all onto really make a hell of a Manhattan for fall.
100%.
In winter, I like using the Aztec chocolate bitters.
Aztec chocolate bitters are fantastic as well. I've used the straight just cherry bitters too. Actually,
yeah,
makes it just a little bit of a pop, of cherry.
There's your spring version.
No pun intended.
But there's your spring version, the cherry.
The cherry.
We'll put orange bitters in it for summer.
And you know what? Yeah, there you go. And you know what? What's funny too is I've actually, this. I tend to once in a while, not all the time. Once in a while, I tend to use I replace the Antica or the vermouth, regardless, with Amaro.
Yes.
Manhattan.
Yes. We've done that. I've actually replaced the vermouth with not Amaro, but Aperol.
Sure.
No, Aperol. So we've got we'll call them Milanos rather than Manhattans.
It's a botanical liqueur is what we're looking for.
That's what you're looking for.
Herbal botanical liqueur.
I'm sure Fernet would work in it.
Fernet would work fine in it too.
Yeah, and I
actually have a bottle.
I do have a bottle of Fernet somewhere.
I gotta stand up for this one. Here we go. I haven't even opened it yet. Short Path Distilling up in up across the street from Night Shift up in Everett, Massachusetts. They're Fernet.
Very interesting.
So
I've got the
375. That's it.
I've got a bottle of the classic citrus Fernet from Croatia. The Croatian Fernet. So there's that. There's many ways you can go with it. But
sure.
This show's about old fashions, and an old fashioned is really pretty much the same exact thing as a Manhattan, except you're replacing the vermouth with simple syrup. Pretty much all that's the only difference
that's really it. You still you got your spirit, bourbon, rye, whatever you're going to use. Lately, actually, last time I had a round of Manhattans, I was just not to get off old fashions here, but I was drinking rye Manhattans. So
Oh, Rye Manhattan's another classic.
yeah, but yeah, you got your spirit, you got your bitters, you got your Luxardo, or cherry nonetheless. You're just replacing the simple syrup with
You're replacing it with the balancing agent.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And we got off topic here because we were talking about the tobacco bitters.
Mm-hmm.
So Clyde's had something I think was called smoke and cigarettes,
Okay,
or something like, or bacon and cigarettes, something in cigarettes.
that was the cocktail, or
That was the name of the cocktail. That was the name of the cocktail.
All right.
So I wonder if they had those tobacco bitters.
Very
for it.
well.
And
I'd love
it really was like, you remember back in the old days where every house had that big, heavy, you could kill somebody with it, glass ashtray.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, or it was either that or the little thin.
It was an
tin ones.
amber. It was an amber.
Sometimes amber, sometimes clear.
Sometimes
And if it
clear.
started off clear, there's portions that became amber.
Came amber, right?
Or it was the little cheap tin ones. Remember those?
Well, yeah, the throwaway ones. Basically, overrated foil, basically shaped into.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and believe it or not, there was a time where those ashtrays were on the tables at McDonald's.
Oh hell yeah! Oh,
Remember
yeah.
that?
Oh, yeah.
It's the same thing, except it had the arches on the base of it.
Yep.
Which very quickly went away behind all the ash. But
I remember sitting in McDonald's and smoke-filled McDonald's.
Yeah. But take one of those.
And it wasn't from the burgers burning in the back.
No. Burning. No, put them in the microwave. But they take one of those ashtrays, and they're getting ready to clean it. Put water in, and you drink that water. That's you never did that, but it's not too far from what the cocktail tastes like.
The bacon and cigarettes,
But-
yeah. So what I'd like to do, and I'd be interested, and I know this is a little tongue in cheek, but what I would like to do is get a hold of a bottle of those tobacco bitters, and just for shits and giggles, all right, I want to make an old fashioned, okay, with smoked maple bourbon from the bottle's right there from Knob Creek. Okay?
I've got one right over there.
All right. The maple syrup I had you order, the smoked maple syrup.
Yes, I have that right over there.
All right. And
That's just a little too sweet for me, Johnny, I have to say.
well, you got to use a little bit of it. You got to use a little bit of it, or even make a simple syrup with it. Dilute it and then use that.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. It is sweet. It's nice and smoky though.
It is.
And I do love maple more than you do. So
marginally more, because
Marginally more.
I'll say one thing: the Knob Creek,
Mhm.
the Knob Creek has got a sweetness to it,
mhm,
not overly sweet,
mhm.
and absolutely love it. And the thing is, you pour yourself a little bit of that, pour a little snort, one finger of it,
Mhm.
and just sit it to the side of you. Don't even drink it; just sit there and smell it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all
Yeah.
you need.
But yeah, and then so do that. So the smoked maple bourbon, smoked maple syrup, and tobacco bitters.
Yes.
And take it outside, light the fire pit, and light a cigar. That's what I mean.
The name
Cover all the
of
bases.
that cocktail is actually bourbon and cigarettes.
Bourbon and cigarettes. There
They
you
use Angel's Envy,
go. Okay.
Antica,
Okay.
Aperol,
Okay.
and Allspice Dram.
Really?
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
So they're not using a tobacco
Tobacco
bitter,
bitters.
but they're using one of the ingredients that's in that tobacco bitters that
Mm-hmm.
that Tom read out.
This is true. So obviously that's where some of that flavor is coming from.
But I do recommend Clyde's. I really think that you would probably have at least 3 or 4 of the cocktails there
Mhm.
before you realize, oh crap, I got to get home.
Yeah.
But this place, seriously, alligator, duck breast, of course. Their specials are usually where you find more of the game.
Gotcha. Well, I just had alligator sausage. Who was I with when I had the alligator sausage? Oh, that's right. That would be you.
And where was that?
That was the Belmar Seafood Festival a few weeks ago.
Yes. And it's funny because anytime you say
Alligator Seafood Festival, but in Belmar it works because of Raging Cajun. Because of Raging Cajun.
Anytime you say alligator sausage, it's like you just might as well say alligator andouille. It's always andouille.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's definitely It's
always andouille. I've never had alligator sausage that's not andouille.
No.
Who's going to put a big old gator in a sausage?
Exactly. It's not. It's certainly not. Sweet Italian alligator sausage.
No, it's not. I've never heard of alligator sopressata.
No, haven't had that.
No, doesn't work.
Tom is back. Let's let him in again. How are you, Tom?
What the hell are you drinking?
What are you drinking now?
To be off today, but they called me Monday and asked if I'd come in. But I was going to do the show from here anyway, but I was hoping to be on that side of the bar. But anyway, so here's a beer that we only serve on Wednesdays. It's called Camelback Hack. It's an Imperial Pilsner at 7.8%.
Nice.
Wow. It's incredibly delicious, man.
Wow. That sounds tasty.
That sounds quite tasty.
I haven't had many Imperial Pilsners. I've had a few.
The
Ramstein up in
a decade ago, but you don't see it as often anymore.
No, you don't. Ramstein up in Butler, New Jersey, High Point Brewing. Greg,
one of them.
It's been on the log room, guys. Chef. His Imperial Pilsner is very good.
Carton makes an Imperial Pilsner.
They do. He does. I won't say his name. Well, this show we can say his name on this.
We can say his name. It doesn't work on this show.
Yeah, exactly. Augie makes a good Imperial Pilsner.
Augie's got a strong lager game.
He does.
Strong lager game.
The lager game is strong with this one.
Oh yes, they do a great job with their lagers.
Well, one of the best I've ever had, believe it or not, is many years ago, probably close to a decade and a half. It was Sam Adams had that Imperial Hallertau at 10%, and
Absolutely.
That's beyond gorgeous.
That was fantastic. That beer, the Imperial Hallertau. Absolutely.
There was a time that Sam Adams were so strong into the craft beer game. Remember those bottles that were like stubby?
Yeah, the 500 milliliter bottles.
Yeah,
that were
still to this day. What was that one called? It was Cinderbach.
Cinderbach was fantastic. It's a Rauch beer. Fantastic.
That was
fantastic. Rauch.
It was a smoked Bock beer.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And
Bock out there, but if I get a chance, I'll jump on again later.
You got it. Go for it.
All right.
Yeah. What you would call it? Yeah, that smoked Rauch, that smoked Bock, that Rauch beer, the Cinderbach is fantastic. I highly recommend anybody who likes Rauch beer. If you happen to come across even an older bottle, some of the smoke may have faded, but even older bottle.
There's only the only existence of that is older bottle.
Older, I know they haven't made it. Yeah,
they haven't made.
Actually, once in a while. I mean, they did make it. When was the last time they made it? Maybe 4 years ago, maybe 5. That's gonna be 5 or 6. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be older regardless if you find it unless they release it again. But they've done it more than once, So
okay, because I think the last time I had it was probably 15 to 18 years ago.
No, they've done it since.
Okay,
but it's fantastic beer, and their Bock game is strong. My favorite. I love that beer. It's probably in my top 3. What?
The Winter Bock?
No. Well, I love any Winter Bock, but
yeah,
they're the Sam Adams double Bock, right? Not Doppelbock, double Bock. I mean, it's
and then
what it is. But it's not necessarily a Doppelbock. I mean, it is of sorts, right? It's more of a stronger, more intensely caramel and Maillard and all those good feels and everything else of a Bock, but stronger, just a higher ABV, and it's fantastic.
Oh God, I still think Cinderbach was. It is definitely my favorite Sam Adams fuck around and find out beer.
Oh hell yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And I know that term lately has been used to mean
a lot of things.
I will mess you up if you mess with me. But for me. I like the definition of fuck around and find out being that is basically the definition of the scientific process.
Right.
And it's also the definition of the brewing process sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You fuck around and you find out, and sometimes you come up with a gem. Sometimes it's a drain pour, but if you know what you're doing, you're going to get more gems than drain pours.
Sure.
So
that is exactly the case. So, Yeah, that I'm glad Tom keeps popping on. So for those of you that are used to obviously this being, we've done a couple of just 2-person shows lately. It's just been Dave and I a couple times now. Tom and I once when Dave was Dave popped in for a little bit.
That's when I was so sick.
Yep. But
it wasn't so sick. I was recovering from the incident.
The incident, yeah. So recovering from that. But which we call it. Tom, obviously, he said it a couple times and they popped on. Got called into work. Tom works for Banter Brewing.
Yep.
In Springfield, Missouri. And it's always fun when he does go there and pops on, whether it's this show or the Log Room guys or one of his at the pubs. It's always a blast when he's there because he's so into what he does there.
Yep. And
he loves every minute of being there that you get even more of an excitable beer whisperer, whiskey whisperer.
You get more of an energy from him.
More of an energy from
than
Tom.
When he's from home.
Right.
And if you're looking over his left shoulder, but maybe it's his right shoulder if this video is reversed, you'll see the fermentation tanks.
Sure.
For Banter Brewing.
Mm-hmm.
It'll make you realize they ain't that big. Their brewing system ain't that big. Those fermenters are not huge.
No.
So that's definitely a craft brewery.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So.
And the fact that they have a cocktail program there, and they I don't think they're doing distilling there. I just have a cocktail program there.
It's funny because I said to Carrie, I said Tom will be doing the show from the brewery. She goes, they have a bar. I'm like, it's not New Jersey.
Exactly.
Surprise! They could actually have a bar.
Ironically, you can do that in New York. You can do that in Pennsylvania. You can do that in Delaware. You could do that in
every state.
That's
3
right.
states of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not New Jersey. Jersey. I think
you can even do it. You can even do it in Utah, John.
Well, no, you can do it. Here's the thing: you can do it at a brewery in New Jersey as long as you're willing to pay $1 million for a liquor license.
But
then you can do it.
Yeah, but then you're a brew pub.
Exactly. Okay. Look, I'm not coming down. New Jersey's relaxed a lot of brewery laws.
Yeah,
we're happy with that. I'm just tongue in cheek spitballing a little bit. Look, but you know what? I'm not like trying to be a boat rocker, if you will. All right. By the way, put a pin in what I just said. I saw a video this morning.
There's 2 pins now I'm sitting on.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'll talk about the other one.
It's starting to hurt.
Starting to hurt your ass? Yeah. That particular pin, right? That one I want to talk about. Saw a video this morning. It was a guy joking around about. It was a comedian. He was joking around about Field of Dreams, right?
Okay.
And he said the boat rocker because James Earl Jones' character.
Wasn't that Hughes Corporation?
No, that was Rock the Boat.
Rock the Boat. Okay.
Don't rock the boat, baby. Don't tip the boat over. Right. Anyway, James Earl Jones' character was what the hell was his name? Field of Dreams.
I'll look it up. Hold on. I will play.
Don't tell me. Just give me the first letter, and I'll tell you.
Okay, hold on. James Earl Jones.
Unless I think of it.
Darth Vader?
Darth Vader, right.
Begins you want the initials or just the first name initial? T.
In Field of Dreams.
Yes.
Oh, Terrence. Give me the last letter initial.
His sister Amy. Not in the movie. But there's an actress, Amy, and that last name initial would be M.
Terrence. Oh, Terrence Mann. Yeah, Amy Mann, right?
Okay.
Voice is Carrie. Yeah, exactly.
No, Amy Mann's the actress from 40-Year-Old Virgin.
And Amy Mann was the singer of Till Tuesday.
Is it the same name?
Maybe. Amy Mann was the lead singer of Till Tuesday.
But it's spelled differently. There you go. It's AIMEE.
Uh-huh.
And Amy Mann was the actress. Or maybe not.
Elizabeth Banks was in.
She was. That's not the one. That's the one.
But you're talking about the lead, the one that was the grandma that he dated.
No, not her. I could have sworn her last name was Mann.
Jane Lynch.
No. Leslie Mann.
Leslie.
Sorry.
Oh, Leslie Mann. Leslie Mann. Yes.
Leslie Mann.
Leslie Mann. Yes. You're right. Leslie Mann. So Amy Mann was in till Tuesday. Yes. Voices carried.
Amy
She also only time there was a guest that I know of anyway. There was a guest singer on a Rush song.
Really?
In 1987, the Hold Your Fire album, song number 2 on side 1, Time Stands Still.
Yeah. That's Amy Mann?
Amy Mann. Time stands still. And then
here comes the.
There it goes. Enjoy it.
Oh, I love that.
So anyway.
I love the thing gives off fumes.
Mm-hmm. So I got to take at least one of the pins out of your ass. So listen to me. So Terrence Mann, James Earl Jones' character wrote.
You could set one of these things on fire. I'm telling you.
Love it. James Earl Jones' character Terrence Mann wrote a book called The Boat Rocker, and that's where this all kind of that's where a lot of Field of Dreams kind of stem from. If you haven't watched Field of Dreams, go watch it. Okay.
It's probably one of the top 5 baseball movies.
It's my number 1 baseball movie.
Oh, my number 1 is Bull Durham. Will always be.
Bull Durham is my number 2. But what's my number 3? I've done this on a sports show, not here.
Major League.
Mm-hmm. You'll never guess my number 4 though.
The Natural.
Nope. The Natural is my number 5. You'll never guess it.
It's not 42.
Nope.
It's not Cobb.
Nope.
Nope. I have no idea.
Major League 2. No, I'm kidding. That was a joke.
Oh God.
No, I'm kidding.
That movie was awful.
It's horrible. It's horrible. No. Little Big League, actually.
Little Big League.
When Jason Robards is the grandfather, and he passes away and leaves the Twins to his grandson.
Because my next guess was going to be, and I probably should have said it, but it would have been wrong anyway, was Bad News Bears.
No, Bad News Bears is probably in the top 15.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Little Big League, love it, and they had a lot of actual baseball players in the movie, on the other teams as well as on the actual team, and one of the pitchers on the Twins that was in his charge when he made himself the manager was Scott Patterson, who famous for he's in Saw, but he was also in Gilmore Girls as Luke Danes.
Yeah,
and Gilmore Girls. He was actually a pitcher in the minors for the New York Yankees and for the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, very nice.
So he actually did play professional baseball. So there you go. Anyway, so this comedian said so many tangents. This comedian said that
lost me.
He said the pin out of your ass, the Boat Rocker. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Boat Rocker was a book that
Rock the Boat, baby.
Terrence Mann had written in the movie, right? Or like in the 60s.
Okay, right.
He said that it took him till well into his adulthood to realize that was not a real book. So he thought it was actually a real book. I don't know whether he thought it was written by James Earl Jones or Terrence Mann or somebody or whatever, but yeah, that was all made up.
Oh, okay. So the sports version of the Necronomicon.
Pretty much.
Showing my nerd leanings.
Exactly. But how we got there, I don't know.
I don't know. But now the other pin, the Maraschino cherry.
Oh, okay.
Raining liquid from Maraschino.
I'll make it quick. I know I've said it before in the Log Room show, but I'll say it here. You and I both, are former volunteer firefighters.
Yep.
Firemen's Convention.
You
every
a
year.
lot longer than me.
True.
I have a year and a half.
I am approaching 30 years before I actually was completely done. But in any event, at the Volunteer Firemen's Convention in Wildwood, New Jersey, every year, one department, I was on 2 departments. The first department I was on, we stayed in a hotel across the street from the second department I was on, right? And every year we went over there and we partied with them and everything else. And
I thought you were going to say you got into a water balloon fight.
No, we partied with them. So when I got on the other department, it was the opposite, right? So it was fun. But in any event, one of the guys on my second department, and this goes all the way back to the 80s, when I was on my first department, every year he would buy a 1-gallon jug of maraschino cherries.
Oh, okay? I've heard this story, yes.
And then he opened up, he'd drain all the water out, leave the cherries, drain all the water out, and he'd put an entire bottle of Everclear, filled it up, One bottle of Everclear, pretty well, a little bit less than one bottle of Everclear, filled up the entire bottle. Then he capped it, taped it, and dated it. Put it in the closet at the convention. He took it home too, right? But he put it away, and he pulled out the year before's and opened it up and said, "Have at it. You could have had nothing to drink for 3 days. You eat 2 of those cherries, you're suspect."
They actually don't they sell something like that in the liquor stores, right? Cherries in Everclear.
They do. Yeah. You're right. They do.
Actually do. If you're too lazy to do it yourself, you can go out and buy it pre-done.
And to be quite honest with you, the amount of if 1 or 2 people are going to have 1 or 2, just buy that. Just spend the money on the small jar.
Yeah.
Call it a day.
Yeah.
If many people are going to have them over a long course of time, or
like a couple
or something,
couple of firefighter houses, yeah,
something like but many because look, nobody had more than 2, and not at the same time. You had 1, and then 2 days later, and during the convention, you had another one, and that was it, right? But there were many people there. So if it's a situation like that, I advise you getting the 1 big container and getting 1 bottle of Everclear, because neither of them are that expensive.
Nope.
And do it yourself.
But the prepared ones are not cheap.
Prepared ones are not cheap.
No, they're not.
So, but in any event, so there you go. That's that. And I don't recommend at all, and I do not endorse at all, putting an Everclear soaked cherry in an old fashioned or a Manhattan, for that matter.
No, probably not a good idea.
Not a good idea. Not a good idea. So, yeah, rye soaked cherries,
Yes.
as Samurai did, 100%.
Rye soaked cherries. I'm almost I've got 2 left in here.
There you
Oh, oh my God, there's 1.
I would just eat it now and do another one.
I think that's what I'm going to do. I need to get another jar of cherries.
What I would do, though, is I would save the juice from that one. I would add that to the new jar first, and then top it off with more rye, because you have rye in there already.
Mm-hmm.
Not just for the sake of wasting rye. If you not that you're wasting the rye, but you know what I'm saying. But it's also gonna commingle a little bit better, and then you can top it off with some fresh rye, and you keep it going, right? It's almost like a part of the last bottle is in that bottle. It's a new bottle.
Gotta rename these fire breather cherries.
Fire breather cherries.
I'm sure they're the fumes that come off of this in your mouth.
You should do she devil cherries and see what they're like.
Have you used it at all?
I haven't yet. You
gotta let me know when.
Haven't yet. We're barbecuing chicken tomorrow night. It's going on the chicken, so I'll let you know tomorrow night.
So what people know what we're talking about. I do a spice rub called She Devil. The She is an acronym for sweet, hot, and earthy. Mm-hmm. And John knows that when it comes to the kitchen, when it comes to the grill, everything, I'm a big proponent of fuck around and find out. And
3rd time tonight on the show.
Yeah. I do, I'm one of my harshest critics when it comes to my creations. And quite often when I just figure out, let me try to do this, it's going to take me 2, 3, 4 iterations before I've got it where I want it.
Right.
I wrote down the recipe for She Devil. I made it. I made wings out of it.
Hold that thought really quick. Hold that thought 1 second. I'll remind you where you are, but I'm going to forget. Your camera just did something really weird. It's fine. It's fine now, but it literally was as if, because you're doing like a soliloquy now, right?
Yeah.
It almost was like zooming in on you. So like you're talking and it's zooming in on you. Like
I'm ready for my close up.
Anyway,
Mr.
DeVille, yeah.
Almost forgot the second half of that. But anyway, so
Cecil B. DeMille.
But
you've made wings.
It's almost I think it's only twice that I've ever written a recipe, made it, and never changed it. Mm-hmm. She Devil turned out exactly the way I wanted it to the first time. Try. And what I would do with it is I would make a dozen wings and make them on the grill. Mm-hmm. And what I'd do is I'd put the wings in a Ziploc bag, pour some of the dry rub in there, shake it up, let it sit for a couple hours, take it out, shake more onto it, and then grill it. Mm-hmm. is the way I would do it. And I've got a few iterations of it. The only thing that changes is the chili powder that's in it.
Mm-hmm.
The first version of it was chipotle. Then I did a habanero. Then I did a ghost pepper.
Mm-hmm.
Then I did scorpion.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did reaper.
Mm-hmm.
For those people who think that who've believed in the past that scorpion's hotter than reaper,
No.
you're out of your minds. Because reaper was the only one where I only finished 8 of them. Every other batch I could finish all 12. Don't get me wrong, scorpion hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Reaper was insane. And I make labels for the ball. The labels differ for each one of the different ones. I gave John, which one did I give you? I'll give you both the chipotle and the habanero, right?
Chipotle and habanero, yeah.
And everyone knows I am a Scoville heat unit whore. The higher, the better for me most of the time. But I want the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
That said, my favorite iteration of She-Devil is still the chipotle. This was developed for wings. It was developed for ribs. People have put it on steak.
Mm-hmm.
People have put it on shrimp.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shrimp. I actually, you know what? It's funny you said that. I was thinking about it. Like I said, we're grilling chicken tomorrow night. I'm thinking about Jess does not like chicken. Does not like shrimp. She loves chicken. She does not like shrimp. So I'm thinking about going and picking up a half a pound of bigger shrimp at ShopRite on my way in.
Skewer them.
She-Devil, let it sit, sprinkle a little more, grill them, have them with my chicken.
For shrimp, habanero is better on shrimp than chipotle.
Is it? All right.
Yeah. Use
Put
the
the
habanero.
put the chipotle in my chicken, put the habanero on the shrimp.
Absolutely. That's the way it should go. One of my favorite things to do, microwave kettle corn. While it's still steaming, open the bag, shake that up. That's so good. It's so good that way.
Nice.
So yeah, you're gonna have to let me know how that goes for you. The recipe is an absolute secret. Carrie has seen it. When I say see it, it was like.
So without that photographic memory,
unless it's like cha-ching, that recipe will pass to my younger son Matthew eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll get it, but no one else knows the recipe. Well, one of these days I may market it.
When Matthew's old enough to know why he needs to keep it to himself.
He already knows because he's asked me for it so many times and I've denied him so many times. It's really building that level, so that he fully understands. No. So that way when he gets it, he understands.
So let me ask you a question.
No. Yeah.
Completely hypothetical.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're playing. We're playing a game here, right? We'll call it hypotheses. That's the name of the game. All right?
Hypotheses.
We'll call it Phoebe ball. No, I'm kidding. Anyway.
No.
Anyway, you decide 10 years from now, you're giving the recipe to Matthew.
Yep.
Right. So he's got it. Without you knowing, he markets it, brands it, develops a company. All of a sudden, he is the king of spice rubs.
Yep.
What do you do?
Celebrate it.
There you go.
That's what I want.
There you go.
What I prefer is to start it. I would prefer to start it myself, but we'll see. Start it myself and then hand it off to him.
There you go.
But we'll see. But I do look for feedback on this. So I've given John the 2 bottles. I want to know. Augie has had it.
Mm-hmm.
He's had the Reaper version, and the habanero version.
While I love heat, not as much as you love heat, and not as much as Brian loves heat, but I do love heat. I do thank you for never giving me a bottle of the Reaper.
The Reaper has not been made in quite a while.
Right.
The Reaper is.
Even the Scorpion would be. I'd enjoy it. I wouldn't enjoy it as much as the habanero or the chipotle or so forth and so on. But or the ghost pepper for that matter. But and I get through it. But Reaper, yeah, I probably would not use it.
Put it this way: with Reaper, I knew I wasn't going to eat all 12. I put 2 aside for a coworker. my friend Mahul. Let's just face it, the Indian people are born on heat and capsaicin. They can handle more heat than us.
Well, of course.
When you go in and ask for hot in an Indian restaurant, they're going to give you white person hot.
Right.
They're not going to give you Indian hot.
No.
I went out with my friend Mahul once. We ordered something hot. I ordered something hot. The waiter starts to walk away. Mahul grabs and goes, Indian hot. And he looks at me and looks at Mahul. He's like, really? He's like, Indian hot. It's like, okay. Oof. That stuff was good. But I saved 2 wings for him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it wasn't for him. It was for Brian, for another Brian, because he's vegetarian. It could have been for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I wasn't going to eat all. So I had 10 for myself. After the 8th one, I'm pacing around the table, looking at the other 2, going, just power through it. You got to finish this. You got to finish this. You got to finish this. And then I just made a beeline for the fridge, filled my mouth with milk, walked around for half an hour with that milk in my mouth, trying to kill the inferno.
And it didn't work.
No, it took half an hour.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. Tom is back.
Tom Overhill.
Tom Overhill's back. The Whiskey Whisperer is back on the show, folks.
It was about time to sign off. I wanted to pop on one more time, say thanks, guys, for working with my chaotic schedule here.
We were just talking about you after the last time you popped on. We were talking about the fact that how in love you are with your job when you go there at Banter Brewing and everything else. It's just
my entire.
Say that again, Tom. You cut out.
So I've never been happier in my entire life.
There you go.
Yeah, it shows the energy.
With her amazing, this whole place. A customer kind of joked with me the other day. She says, Tom, you're living your best life, aren't you? I said, you better believe it.
You better believe it.
But damn, I am here.
There you go.
Very nice.
Awesome. Well, cheers, buddy.
I spiel one more time before you sign off.
Go for it.
Go for it.
For beer evangelists, for beer drinking, prayer wisdom, all around you guys. Launch you. Hey, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
You got it, Tom.
Cheers,
Enjoy.
Tom.
We'll talk to you soon. All right, there you go. That's different. We got Tom popping on 3 different times during the show.
There we go. That's a new one. But yeah, he's enjoying himself. There
you go. Fantastic. Fan-freaking-tastic. Cool.
Well, my beer's almost gone.
My
cocktail's gone.
My cocktail. I have 1 sip of the cocktail left and 2 or 3 sips of the beer left. Whatchamacallit? I was just going to say we have to figure out what we're doing on the next show and have a couple of emails and messages out to a few people in the distilling world.
Bartenders and distillers
and so forth. Yes. I would like to, more on that with you separately. We don't have to, divulge our.
We do got to figure out what we're going to do on the next show.
The next show is probably not going to contain one of those guests, so we do have to figure out what we're going to do with that. And I'm up for pretty much anything. It is getting hotter, so I would not be opposed to going to gin,
or tequila,
or
white rum,
or tequila.
White rum. But we will.
I will drink silver. I will drink barrel aged rum, gold rum. But you know what? Some silver rum's good. I got to find some silver rum.
I'm not talking straight up, John. I'm talking.
No, I know a cocktail. Right.
I'm talking margarita. I'm talking.
Mojito. I could do a mojito. I could do. Let's go old school. Let's be 80-year-old women and do daiquiris. Let's do a banana daiquiri.
I was thinking pina coladas.
Pina colada. There you go.
Yeah, pina colada. Don't stress it too much. But now we'll tell. So Tom, John, and I have been going back and forth as far as a structure to the show. We didn't do it on this show because we knew Tom would be in and out on the show.
It took 9 shows of the Log Room guys to get our structure together. So this is show 6. So we have another 3 to perfect it. So there you go.
Well, on show 7, we will introduce what we've come across as far as the structure is going to be will be concerned for this. We're going to take turns, even though John's always going to introduce the show. He's always going to introduce the show.
I don't have to.
No. We're going to do that, but we're going to take turns being the
Host.
spirit host of the show.
Spirit host. There you go.
So the spirit host they'll make the call on what we're drinking. And they will guide us through the show. We will, if it's a spirit, if it's a cocktail, or even the beer, we're going to give you a little bit of a rundown, a history, the origin of any one of those things.
Of not only the spirit, but also the particular distillery that.
If it's a distillery, right? Well, the thing is, because we might be all drinking from different things, so maybe not.
Right.
We do give the background of distilleries when we drink. But we're talking about the actual cocktail itself.
Right.
Like when we do pina coladas, who actually invented the damn thing? Well, there's two bars that claim this, so that'll be discussed. Those things we'll go through, and John and I will take turns. I love being the professor, so to speak. So I'll be doing a bunch of that, doing the research, letting you guys know where these things came from.
Sure.
Some of the history. John's going to do a few of them. You know, because sometimes, believe it or not, I do get tired of my own voice.
I've never seen it, but he says that.
I say that. But no,
we'll see.
That's why I never rewatch a show because I can't stand to hear myself recording.
Right.
But at any rate, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to give you a little more background, a little more history. We're going to throw some knowledge down on you as far as some of these things go, and we'll see how that works. And I'm looking forward to it. And if you notice, I said I didn't mention Tom's going to be doing any of the professor work because he hates that. He doesn't want to.
He doesn't want to. He's going to be. Dave will be the professor, and I'll be the host. Dave will be the host. I'll be the professor. Tom will be Tom.
Tom's going to be Tom. He will host every now and then, where he's going to pick the cocktail. He's going to guide us through the cocktail, because right now he is the mixologist extraordinaire in Springfield.
100%.
So
Dave and I have been doing it for years. Some professionally, some not.
I've never done it professionally,
but Tom is the only one that's doing it professionally right now. So
correct. I mean, I've been behind bar making cocktails, but never employed. And usually not with the knowledge of the rest of the bar.
This is true.
So we'll see how this goes. It's going to be next week. We'll do a trial run, and so we've got some discussions as to what we're going to do for next week.
Fair enough.
But we've been quite bourbon heavy.
We have been bourbon, rye, brown spirits heavy. So yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to gin or tequila or anything.
Okay. Every time that John picks from here until September is going to be gin. I guarantee it.
No, I have some bourbons I need to break into. So
okay, but
we could pepper them in.
I'm going to have to. I don't have any gin right now, John. I don't.
I have to get a bottle of. I showed you the bottle of the small bottle of Fernet from Shorepath. Shorepath does like 6 different gins. They have the regular gin, they have a London dry gin, and then they have a season.
Okay.
They have a seasonal gin. Their summer gin is made with blueberries, so it's a gin, and then they add blueberries to it. So the gin itself is actually purple, and it's fantastic. It's all of the botanicals that you want in a gin, with that little touch, not a lot, little touch of blueberry sweetness to it. So and it's fantastic.
This is what we're going to do before we get into gin cocktails. We will do a straight up gin show.
Damn, I thought you were going to say before we get into gin cocktails, we will take a ride up to Everett, Massachusetts, and get a couple bottles of the. Damn, maybe we should. Hoping that you're going to say that.
Maybe we should do that. But before we get into gin cocktails, we will do a straight up gin show. John will be the professor that day.
All right.
And John will school us on gin, because when it comes to spirits, John's greatest love is bourbon and gin, not together.
No,
we've talked about bourbon. John knows full well my two big loves in the spirit world: bourbon and tequila. So we do the tequila show. I'll professor on that.
100%.
because we will do a straight up tequila show. We will probably do at some point have to do a mezcal show.
Maybe we should bring Tony on and do a Sotol show.
Okay, so I don't know if Tom's gonna be able to find Sotol, Missouri. We'll see. It's so hard
It's
to find.
hard for you and I to find it in New Jers's.
I know where it is in Jersey.
You do. You've told me.
I've seen a bottle of it. I had my hand on it and went and put it back. I know where to get a bottle of it. Sotol, apparently, it's like you see those memes where it's the blah blah blah. It's apparently, according to Tony, it's the highest level of that agave can attain as a spirit.
100%.
So we will see about that, but we will do a gin show. We will do a tequila show. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about what makes it a tequila, what makes it a gin.
Yep.
Some of the history behind it, some of the classic distillers that brought these things forth, what made it popular.
100%.
We'll it's these things, we know these things, but being able to remember, we've gotten so much of what we know already. But we'll bring it forth. We'll do our research and we'll pass it on to you.
100%. Sounds like a plan.
So look forward to the next show. We've got to decide what we're going to do. I don't think we're going to jump directly into gin or tequila just yet.
No, we can baby step into that.
We may have one more dark spirit show left in us before we go full swing.
I have another bottle that was just gifted. I could break into that and do a concoction, but bourbon.
Bourbon, okay.
Bourbon. I could break into that, and then, but I'll leave it up to the two of you. If we're going to do that, we'll decide on it. But if we're going to go that route, I'll leave it up to the two of you as to what direction to do with that particular spirit.
Okay,
Yeah.
So we'll
whether
see
it's a Manhattan or just some other
we've
crazy
done
concoction.
I think we've done enough Manhattans. Actually, I think would be a good thing to do a Manhattan cocktail, a bourbon cocktail that's not a Manhattan
or an
old
fashioned. There you go. Maybe
that'll take some thought.
Everybody the same though, or just
nope?
It doesn't matter. Just a bourbon cocktail that's not either an old fashioned or a Manhattan.
Right.
I'm up for that.
Maybe that'll be the next show. We'll see. Let's run it past Tom. Let's see what he thinks.
All right.
And the thing is, if we do that doesn't fit into our new format, but that's all right.
No, we can fit it into the format.
We can still fit in the format.
We can fit it in the format. Yeah. Doesn't matter what it is. We can fit it in the format that way. So, all right.
Well, we guess we'll give the knowledge of what a Manhattan is.
Exactly.
We'll talk about it.
We can talk about
it.
But
we're going to diverge.
We'll diverge into whatever that is, and then we'll do it. We'll do it as such.
Yes.
There you go.
So many ways to go about it.
There you go. All right.
So that means no, it doesn't. Never mind. Belay that thought.
On our next show will be Wednesday, June 19th.
It will, and I will be in Ortley Beach, New Jersey.
All right. Doing the show from Ortley Beach?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yep. We'll see what's going on, and
then the show after that we'll either have to reschedule or you'll have to do from Pittsburgh.
No, maybe we just reschedule it.
Well, we can do. Here's an idea too. We can always move next week's show, 2 week show, to next week, and get back on track with the sports podcast. To just do it the precursor to the sports podcast.
So you're thinking 26th and then the 10th.
Just move it the second week and do the 26th and then the 10th and on from there 2 weeks.
Okay, let's
talk to Tom and we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
There you go. All right.
Already.
Sounds like a plan. All right. On that note,
time to roll.
We will wrap up the show for today. We want to thank everybody for watching. For those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit our website. All the End of Chaser info will be on the Log Room website, www.logroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, our YouTube channel. Actually, none of them are for the and a Chaser show, they're all for the Locker Room. But definitely check out the Facebook page and a Chaser. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night. That's the Locker Room. Every other Wednesday night around 6:30. I'm sorry, we'll get this straight. Don't worry about it. Yeah. We're getting there. We got 3 more shows to perfect it. There you go.
It's a work in progress.
Every other Wednesday night ish around 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. And for those of you that just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on our audio host, Spreaker, as well as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, Audible, Google Podcast, Amazon Music Podcasts, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, Castbox, Deezer, Podchaser, Listen Notes. Pretty much anywhere you find audio podcasts, you'll be able to find the End of Chaser podcast. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds and you will never miss a show. Not that you don't want to, but you will never miss a show. So that's a threat to us, but no, I'm kidding. No, enjoy it. We really want to make these shows accessible to you. We're perfecting our game here. Any ideas you have that you think are going to be what's the word I'm looking for?
I did see one. Mm-hmm. Shoot yourselves, but I don't.
Yeah, I'm going to go away from that one. Anything that's constructive criticism.
Yeah, say that's not very constructive.
Not destructive criticism.
Yeah.
Right. But in any event, take care of that, and we'll subscribe to those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you in a couple weeks, folks. Take care.
See you then. Cheers.
Cheers.